On today's Smart 7, Labour double down on housing pledge, Donald Trump is Time's Person of the Year, and much more. It's Friday 13th of December, it's Violin Day, and happy birthday, Taylor Swift.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
Not the news. Housebuilding is one of the new government's priorities, and Prime Minister Keir Starmer has promised 1.5 million homes in England will be delivered over the next 5 years. That means a priority for builders and an overhaul of the planning system so that new developments can move ahead more quickly. Deputy PM Angela Rayner is also Secretary of State for Housing, and she's optimistic that the target can be met.
We haven't built on this scale since the end of the Second World War in the 1950s. We were able to do it then, we can do it now. We just need all elements of the state, including local government, working with us. And I believe that getting that plan right will deliver the homes that people desperately need.
The Tories have described the plan to build at such a scale as a war on rural England and accused the government of planning to concrete over Greenbelt land. Housing Minister Matthew Pennycook says the focus is on relieving pressure where the affordability crisis is most acute, but Shadow Housing Secretary Kevin Hollinrake says the government are ignoring local expertise in councils.
The decisions are effectively made by central government, so all that democratic accountability will have been swept away and the bulldozers will simply go in, pile in without you being able to say anything about it.
This week saw the father and stepmother of Sarah Sharif found guilty of the 10-year-old's murder. The trial heard that the pair had removed her from school and subjected her to 2 years of what was described as horrific abuse before her death. Prime Minister Keir Starmer spoke out on the case on Thursday as the government announced its intention to introduce a new requirement for local authority consent to homeschooling if concerns have already been raised about a child's well-being.
This is just the most awful case. Obviously, there's going to be questions that need to be answered in relation to this case. I don't think that we should allow ourselves to think that whatever the rules on smacking are, that's got anything to do with this case.
The Children's Commissioner, Dame Rachel de Souza, says it is madness that such a protection wasn't already in place and that there are things that need to be done immediately to ensure that vulnerable children are protected.
There seem to be failures right the way through. And really unacceptable failures. The safety net that should have supported her have failed her. Every time this happens, we'll talk about reviews. No, we need change.
After a week which has seen rebels take control in Syria, Israel continue attacks in Gaza, and Ukraine continuing to lose ground as Russian troops advance. New NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte was sounding a grim warning on Thursday. With Donald Trump due to take office in January and huge uncertainty about what America's relationship with NATO will be in 2025, Rutte says it's time for Europe to switch to a war footing. That means that NATO members should be prepared to increase their contribution from the current 2% of GDP to 3%, and that the European defence industry needs to accelerate production of weapons and ammunition. Speaking in Brussels, he said we have a limited time window to take action.
We are not ready for what is coming our way in 4 to 5 years. Danger is moving towards us at full speed. We must face it. What is happening in Ukraine could happen here too.
After plenty of criticism over his decision to pardon his son Hunter, US President Joe Biden took action on other pardons on Thursday. He issued 39 pardons to Americans convicted of non-violent crimes and commuted 1,500 sentences. He's also pledged to issue further pardons before he leaves office in January. Meanwhile, Donald Trump confirmed to Time magazine on Thursday that he intends to pardon non-violent participants in the January 6th insurrection. He was speaking to Time as he was named their Person of the Year for the second time. To celebrate, he rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange and promised that his second term will be much more efficient than his first.
When we left, we didn't have any of these problems. We didn't have Russia with Ukraine. We didn't have inflation. We had no inflation. And we're going to do that again, but I think we're going to even up it because now we have experience that we didn't have. Now I know everybody.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, Spurs face Rangers in Europe and Seth Rogen loves The Lion King. Right after this. Welcome back. Thursday night was another big night of Europa League and Conference League action. Chelsea got things underway in the conference with a long flight and an early kickoff in Kazakhstan. They beat local side Astana 3-1 in temperatures of -10 and are through to the last 16. Man United were in Czechia to face Victoria Plzeň and came back from a goal down to win 2-1 and keep new manager Ruben Amorim happy. The big game of the evening saw Spurs in Scotland to play Rangers, and with boss Ange Postecoglou a former Celtic manager, it was a spicy tie. It ended with 1 goal apiece, which sees Rangers go ahead of Spurs on goal difference, to the annoyance of the Spurs manager.
It's fair to say we're in a bit of a struggle, and like I said, we hung in there tonight, which is important. The next round of the European games aren't now for a while, which will help us for sure. Like I said, I think when we look back, I don't think it'll be an important point for us.
Next Friday sees the Lion King prequel Mufasa hit the cinemas. The movie tells the backstory of Mufasa's rise to King of the Jungle, and it stars a wide range of vocal talents including Beyoncé and Jay-Z's daughter Blue Ivy Carter. This week has seen red carpet premieres for the movie in Los Angeles and London, but returning stars Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner were busy doing their part of the press tour in an LA zoo. They play the irrepressible duo Timon and Pumbaa, and they're really hoping that there are more movies to come in the series, or maybe even a spin-off.
Has it dawned upon you that Disney might keep asking you to come back to voice these two?
We want that.
Dawned upon us.
We're pushing hard for
We're
it, campaigning, outwardly campaigning for
I'm
it.
practically marching in the street.
Yeah. But yes, we do these forever.
Yeah, exactly.
If for no other reason than to promote them at the zoo.
You might think we've seen every possible variation of the superhero movie by now, but you'd be wrong. There's a new movie on the way that's more stupid hero than superhero, as its central character's principal attribute is that he can't feel any pain. That's it. He has no powers, so it's not really a superhero movie, in fact, more of an action comedy, but it looks like fun. It stars Jack Quaid, who you'll know from The Boys, and it features a regular guy who feels no pain thrown into a hostage situation.
Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Regular job, but I've got this condition where I don't feel pain.
Hey, there we go.
Oh my God, you're a superhero.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m.